Underwood goes over the top.
Yeah, and he did himself a lot of good with his stem off the line of scrimmage, and I'll explain that after the kickoff here.
Beatty sending it down again to Trayvon Van. Wrapped up and ripped down near the 25-yard line. You saw this one right from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, a little switch motion here with Cunningham. He's going to come in here, draw the underneath, and then he's going to push out and push here, and then turn the hips and hit the post. Neil King jumps Cunningham right there, and then boom, it's all over. He opened his hips and got on him and just destroyed him with his stem and opened him up like that, and Darian Durant lifts it and made that look relatively easy. 7 plays, 50 yards, took 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
5.5 to go, opening quarter, and a whistle. Play does not get off here. Procedure call against the Eskimos.
Still first down.
Flag against 66 now.
Jason Moss, who's getting some help offensively this year, called the plays last year as the OC, but Carson Welch now is also handling the coordination of the offense.
I think that frees him up. You know, he was much more relaxed yesterday, and obviously when you get a win on the road in BC, it helps you relax.
Yes. But the stress level down a bit. There's the veteran. Oh, Calvin McCarty, longest tenured Eskimo here, upended on the far sideline. So half the first down yardage.
Love me some Calvin, Western Washington. Hey, and here's the big boys are going to try to get after this offense with all the weapons, and a little mix-up in the linebacking core. Tavel's there, Hebert's moving around a bit. Cox is actually playing halfback.
Should we even go by any of this stuff?
No, because Phillips is now not playing halfback. He's on the corner, and yeah, there's a lot of changes back there. So
here's the blitz
keep you
now.
abreast.
Riley. Darius Bowman, only his 3rd catch of the season, likely used last week. Just 2 catches for the Eskimos superstar.
And you remember how I said Mike was tentative, you know, in the first series, couple passes? This is not. He knows, he sees his star receiver, he feels when the ball's thrown before he's out of his break, and it's thrown on the money.
14-yarder for Darius Bowman. 2 catches last week, just 13 yards. As Riley used a heavy dose of Brandon Zylstra and Duke Williams. There's another fumble, and it's recovered by John Bowman. And John White is struggling out of the gate here tonight. That's 2 fumbles to the Eskimo running back. And White now is down and hurt.
John Bowman's 29th forced fumble, and he recovers that. And John White, that's bad news for the Eskimos.
2 fumbles and now a banged-up knee to Torres' Achilles back in 2015. Getting some assistance off the field. This is not good.
My goodness. This is the nasty part about football, and it happens in John Bowman's first one in there.
Yeah, so was Chip Cox right after the play. He knew that White was in distress.
You know, this is a superstar in the league and phenomenal back, and there's where it happens. You really can't see it go, but looks like it's his right knee and looks fairly severe.
Right there, he jammed it twice. To say it's his right knee. Been on that jam on the ground, just on the turf, on the cut.
Yeah, well, Trayvon Van, next man up. Calvin McCarty, get hot.
That's the mentality of the Eskimos. Next man up. So now Durant now in trouble, wrapped up, pitches it out. And it's an incomplete pass. How about Darian Durant with some escapability again there? Yeah, he was in the clutches of Kwaku Boateng.
Yeah, you talk about timing with offenses, and the routes have to be timed up with the protection. The ball's going to come out, and the routes up top and the left of the screen just didn't develop enough for Darian Durant soon enough, and he had to eat that one. And he got a little room, got out of Boateng's grasp and kind of pitched it forward. Didn't take a loss.
So we'll try to get an update. Dustin Nielsen is with us tonight on the sideline on John White. Makes his way to the locker room. 2nd down now. Durant drops it into Terrell Sutton. Corey Jones and Sutton with a collision, but Terrell Sutton has the first down.
This is why this is so devastating, because this guy, when he's healthy, and he's had his problems with health, but the last 7 starts for the Edmonton Eskimos have been what you come to expect when he's on the football field. And tough to see him being carted to the locker room.
Durant now changes the play. 1st and 10. 3 minutes left, opening frame. Sutton.
Where was this last week? Had him in my fantasy. He got destroyed.
How are you doing in the fantasy, by the way?
I had a tough week. I'm at the bottom. At the bottom. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. And I'm not doing very well. But I tell you, that's a good game. I made some improvements to it this year. And
there's some big money out there. Big money players playing CFL fantasy. Keep it on the turf again as Sutton stretches out.
Yeah, this kid looks like he's going to be right about the first down line, depending on the mark.
What the play calling right now for the Montreal Alouettes, spreading the wealth
on their heels, and a lot of some play action. We got Nick Lewis on the foot. He breaks the tackle right there, and then love it. He knows where those sticks are. As any good back does. Jacques Chapdelaine. Love watching that guy call plays.
So 3rd down for the Alouettes.
Yep.
And
Darvin Adams.
Vernon Adams Jr., former Oregon Duck, comes in. 3rd and 1. Adams goes straight ahead, sneaks underneath, and he'll get the first down. Adams had a couple of starts last year in that carousel in Montreal. Isn't it nice for Jacques Chapdelaine and the Alouettes, though, to have a veteran presence and some continuity at quarterback?
Yeah, it is, and it's huge. This kid had 30 rushes, 113 yards and a touchdown, and you know he's getting comfortable in the system. I talked to him last week, and you know he's still in the fetal stages of trying to figure it out, but he's a talent, and they're happy to have him.
Thrown to the Wolves a little bit when
he was.
The Owls were in desperate need, and there is Beaulieu. Bowls through, the fullback out of Sherbrooke.
His pad level is pretty high there, but he's so daggum strong. He just took a whole bunch of folks with him, and you know, a big guy like this, 6'2", 225, 230. He can afford to do that. It's like Messam going in there. You know, you'd like to see those guys lower their pad level a little bit, and then nobody's got a chance. He attracted some flies in a hurry.
How about the MO here for the Alouettes on this drive? This is kind of old school here.
In your face, root him out.
Running the football. Will they go to the air? No, they'll use Stephon Logan. So Steph Logan, Terrell Sutton, and Beaulieu, 3 different running backs, 4 carries so far.
Yeah, you know, if you're Corey Jones, you're Adam Konar, Kenny Ladler, you know, you're thinking, no, they're not going to give it to him. You know, it's a different back. Yeah, well, 3 times in a row they've given it to the different back. It's pretty Jacques Chapdelaine. I love it. You know, it's kind of, I've always taught when you call plays, just go back to it until they stop it. And then once they do, they have to compensate somewhere. Then you give them the same look, and now you're going somewhere else.
Did not get the first down, though, so they have to bring out Beatty here.
No, they didn't have to. They chose to. Could have gone for it.
3rd down and 2. And Beatty puts it through. So 10-zip after 1 quarter for the visiting Montreal Alouettes. And concern for the Eskimos right now, already beaten up. And the Eskimos with John White in the locker room, their star running back, as they try to battle back here at the Brick Field tonight. Friday Night Football on TSN continues from Northern Alberta.
TSN CFL.
Canada Day weekend begins. Friday Night Football here at Brick Field, and hard to believe the Edmonton Eskimos, if you were a betting man, a fantasy guy coming into this game, you would have thought Eskimos favored.
You're not counting on 2 turnovers by a star running back either in the first quarter, gifting points to Alouettes in good field position. They took advantage of it in old school way too, controlled the line of scrimmage and kind of flipped the scripts on the Edmonton Eskimos here in the first quarter.
Eskimos have some problems right now, certainly with John White out of the game. We'll try to get a report on that. Jacques Chapdelaine, though, interesting play calling as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's going right at the heart of the middle of that defense there, and maybe that's more of a sign of attacking Corey Jones in the middle, in absence of J.C. Sherritt, but he had no problem about calling the plays between the tackles.
Start the second quarter. The Eskimos looking to answer here. Riley puts it in the air to Zylstra. Zylstra, what a shake that time on the veteran Ryan Phillips in his debut with the Montreal Alouettes, and Phillips is shaking his head after that shake by Zylstra.
Yeah, and he should know better. I mean, that guy's got everything in the tank to get the job done, and boy, he did last week. I mean, he reminded everybody of his when he came on the scene in week 14 last year, and how he just lit it up and picked up where he left off.
That play, 76 yards, led to the game-winning field goal by Sean White. 7 catches, 152. There's Riley. Oh, this is wide open. Darius Bowman, you did not. Darius Bowman can't believe it. I know you can't believe it. That is usually a gimme.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, because he pressure's off the edge. You're gonna see it coming off the edge there, and then he's just gonna climb him, and then, boy, the DB's just done. Ryan Phillips has had a tough couple of plays there, and boy, just squeeze that one. Don't fight it. I hate to see that. Darius has worked hard, really cut his drops in half from 2 years ago and to just about 10 last year. And I know if you asked 13 right there, he'd like to give it a better ball, or maybe a more catchable ball, and not make it so difficult.
Edmonton is challenging for illegal contact on their number 4.
So the Eskimos hoping to catch a break here. And Ryan Phillips down, the veteran DB, in his first game with the Alouettes. Mincy and Cox on one knee as well. We'll come back to Edmonton.
Yeah, you talk about climbing a defender, and this is what Darius does. He gets on Ryan's feet. Ryan's done. He has to grab him. Looks like he gets kicked in the mouth as Darius goes by him. I think that was the injury.
After review, we have illegal contact. Montreal number 21. It's a 10-yard penalty and a first down.
So it doesn't work out so bad after all, but Ryan Phillips
got a dose of Zylstra on 1st and 10. Juked him out of his cleats, and then he took one in the mouth as Darius went by. His heel caught him up underneath his face mask, and he's going to be all right. He'll be back in competing, no question.
Cast aside by the BC Lions, the longtime Lion. Now makes his home with the Alouettes. His first game here, did not play last week. 47 career interceptions. 1st and 10 Eskimos now from the Montreal 52-yard line.
I like it.
Riley settles in, swinging it out to McCarty. And Calvin McCarty, that burly fullback, worked his way into the CFL 10 years ago, 2007, and has a first down.
Yeah, you watch the lineman here, and it's really cool because here's McCarty. He's right here. He's right there, and he's just going to slip out. And Cox goes into coverage. He's gaining depth there, and all the time Cox is gaining depth, McCarty's just getting wider and wider out flank in the area outside.
Chip Cox was there to push him out of bounds, and John Bowman
having a good game.
Who has not had a sack this year, but that's a sack of a running back. Trayvon Van just met up with John Bowman.
John Bowman, 12-year player from Wingate. He's actually 14 sacks behind the great Stuart Hill, who had a phenomenal career here in Edmonton. And he is 8th all-time at this point with 112. And that was a tackle for a loss. He's got quite a few of those over his career, too.
Turned 35 years old on July 19th, and remember a couple of years ago it looked like he might be done. That looked like it was offside. So a free play here for Riley. Riley now chucking. It's a overthrow looking for the Duke Williams.
And the Duke, you look at his left ankle, and that's taped over the outside of his sock there, and they're jawing back and forth. You know, you got Mincy out there.
Offside.
There's their old buddies, teammates in Auburn.
Penalty.
It was actually Collins, Tariq Collins, and him getting after it. I tell you, those are imposing figures right there. Eskimo receivers are so big, and they can move. Welcome to the CFL, Duke. Get back on the line and do it again. He just ran 40.
2nd down and 7. Goes to his dependable guy now, Brandon Zylstra, out of Concordia College, not in Canada, but Moorhead, Minnesota. And ever since he came into the CFL last year, Brandon Zylstra has done nothing but catch footballs.
Yeah, and I think he's showing his array of talents. Just got ability to catch. 6'3", he can run. We saw that.
Mike Riley, the 3rd down plunge.
He make people miss. It's tough. It's tough sledding right there.
So the keeper for Mike Riley. Keep this drive moving. Early 2nd quarter here, and the Eskimos trying to get on the board in their home opener.
It's interesting. Riley stays out there in that situation. You don't see James Franklin or the number 2 guy come in like we see with Vernon Adams in Montreal, because we know that's this guy. He's a full bore 24/7, and he's just taking extra punishment on those short yardage situations.
Hazelton in motion. Play action again. There's Hazelton.
I love it.
Little cutback and
just point fake to your back and stick it out there to another 6'3" receiver in space. And Hazelton shows a little juke there, a little shake.
Former Argo. Al Hazelton came here to Edmonton late last season, so 2nd and short yardage again. Riley again over center. Justin Sorensen, who had a terrific year last year.
And number 49, our TSN top 50 poll, and one of the biggest centers in the Canadian Football League. Man goes about 6'9", 340. And seriously, you got to almost put your hands, up around your chest area to take the snap from him if you're my height.
That's one of the biggest lines in the league when you think of Matt O'Donnell, who is almost 7 feet. Tony Washington, who's 6'7", Simeon Rotier, 6'6".
Yeah, he's the runt out there, the litter. That's 6'6".
Look at these guys; they're giants.
Yeah, the guy there, 66, folks, for your screen. He's 6'11". Sorensen next to him, 6'9". You got you got Figueroa out there,
and they're about 3 feet wide.
Oh yeah, and then they take 3-foot splits, which is a yard. And so that's 5 yards, 15 feet from outside foot to outside foot, and about 1,900 pounds.
That's a big meat locker.
That is.
That's a big meat locker right there.
Mike Riley, he says, oh, look at it. Riley's 6'3". That's just amazing. That's the biggest offensive line I think I've ever seen.
They are there to protect number 13. 10th play of the drive. Van now. Little run blocking this time, and some penetration that time from the Alouettes. And once again, they stop Trayvon Van.
It doesn't make any sense to me. You let Montreal pursue with angle because you put the ball on the edge, and now there's the big boys. Watch the big boys. They don't get on anybody here. Watch the white. They all just flow to the football, and nobody's on him. Penetration kills it. Williams gets there. 2nd and long.
So now Riley inside the red zone. Darius Bowman in the boundary here. Duke Williams out there, and of course Zylstra. Riley now with lots of time, but here comes the rush. Near sideline, Zylstra, little cut back, and there's a penalty flag.
Kyrie's.
And they have got a piece of the grill there.
Yeah.
And so,
unfortunately for Kyrie Saber, unintentional, but he's pleading his case, but I don't think he's going to win it.
So this will likely make this a first down.
No participation. Montreal number 34.
Oh, Kyrie's Hebert had gone out of bounds and came back in.
Ineligible player. Can't come back in and being part of the play.
Still makes it another first down, though.
Riley buying some time here, actually making this play happen. Finds Zylstra. Watch Kyrie's fly out. Comes back in. Involved in the tackle. It's a good call by the official on the sidelines.
Look at that cutback by Brandon Zylstra.
That just makes my knees hurt watching that.
He's last in the CFL, the alphabetical roster, but he's up there in terms of receptions.
Yeah, get used to it. Stat category, receptions, yards, touchdowns. This kid's pretty special.
I'm showing my age, but there was a big Z in the CFL Zen and Adresition. I guess it's Canada Day weekend. We got to call it the Big Zed.
I love it. I love it.
So maybe the new Big Zed is, or Big Z for those of you watching in the United States, is Brandon Zylstra. And how about the show that Brandon Zylstra was putting on in the pregame?
Oh yeah, just one-handers.
After the 10-yard penalty, it is still half the distance to goal. It is still second down.
So Tim Croker clarifies that.
That's better than second and long. That's all I'm saying. I'm taking that. God.
5-yard penalty. We're at a second, so it'll be now 2nd and 2. Not an automatic
half
first.
The distance to the goal, which doesn't give them an automatic first down. Yeah. Just gives them the yardage.
So now it's still a chance here for Riley.
Seems like they're just getting penalized for being too close to the end zone, which doesn't make any sense.
10-0 Alouettes. Eskimos look to hit the board here. And just hitting that wall.
See, that makes more sense to me. Don't take it off the line of scrimmage and pitch it outside. Let Montreal flow at their speed. Use those big boys up front we just talked about and get them going north-south and root them out, much like we saw Montreal do at the end of the first quarter.
So now it will be 1st and goal for the Eskimos. Will they keep it on the ground here? Will Riley go to his weapons? And an offside, Darius Bowman about 4 yards offside, so a miscommunication there. It's been a tough night so far for number 4.
Well, it would have been a really nice catch.
Edmonton number 4. 5-yard penalty.
Well, he probably could have got up still.
On the cover 0, and the one that Riley would probably want back, but that's one that you would think a guy with his talent would squeeze. And that's a lonely feeling there when you're 4 yards off sides and oops.
Still 1st and goal, however, from almost the 12-yard line
coverage here with Duke over the top.
But they keep it on the ground, and there's Trayvon Van, and spun to the ground by Kyrie Seber. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 7-yard line
That's
now.
where you earn your money defensively, backed up against your own goal line, and Noel Thorpe has got his boys fired up, and they're